Recording off. We're gonna hit this recording. We're gonna go ahead and get this started. All right. Welcome to another episode of Black Fathers as Entrepreneurs. My name is Omar Muhammad, helping you improve and progress in business and in life. So this is the show telling our story as fathers and entrepreneurs. And every episode I have a Black father and an entrepreneur. And in studio with me today we have Everett Winchester. Hey man, long time.
Long time, but we're here.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm making it through, working hard.
All right, good deal. Well, let's jump right into it. Give out your contact information so people can reach out to you.
Okay, right now my name is Everett Winchester. You can reach me at realtruthandpower@gmail.com. Our website is realtruthandpower.org. And, we're just here to provide powerful content to uplift the Black community.
All right, good deal. All right, so let's start with fatherhood first. So what's the best part of being a father?
Wow, that's a good one. I think the best part of being a father for me is just seeing how they grow and nurture as adults or kids going to adults. First thing you're excited you have this little baby and you just want to nurture them, and then you watch the growth process. And it's not always easy. It's challenging for both parts, the child and the parent. But just to see that process of them growing and maturing it's beautiful.
All right. So this is a show where we talk about our children, man.
That's cool.
Yeah. So let's talk about your children.
I have two wonderful stepdaughters. I call them my daughters, though. Two more daughters that are from me and my wife, and I have a blossoming son right now, and he's playing Division I basketball at Florida Atlantic. My other daughter, she just went from Purdue to Towson, so she's back home. And everybody else is working. My youngest daughter goes to Mother Seton Academy, so she's about to go to high school after this year. So they're moving on up and out. They're moving on up and out.
You said up and out.
Yeah.
I said that to my daughter the other day, 12-year-old. I said, I'm trying to get you to graduate early. Because me and Mommy, we got to travel.
Yeah,
so we trying to get you a college at 13.
Yeah, yes.
I got a lot of work right now. That means you got to skip a lot of grades.
No doubt, no doubt.
All right, so any funny stories that you have, either as now or as they were kids?
Well,
or younger, I should say.
Well, I can tell you a crazy story. I coach basketball, so it was always when I wasn't coaching my son, I was the crazy parent in the stands. So one day my son just had a bad game. I'm zapping out in the stands. I'm going crazy in the refs, and I noticed my family wasn't sitting by me. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on here? So that was the longest walk I've ever had to take because they pulled off and left me right at that game place. And I said, okay, I better check myself. Yeah, wife down to every daughter.
Wow.
Yeah, so I learned then that, especially when you're dealing with Black women, you better keep yourself in check. Don't embarrass a Black woman in public.
I'd say that's almost a Bernie Mac moment, man.
Yeah, I was like, so they moved? Okay.
Yeah, where are they at? Oh, we home.
Right, yeah.
All right, so let's talk about you as Everett, as a young man, as a child. What fatherhood lessons did your father pass on to you?
Well, like all dads, they want to pass on hard work, being tough-minded, disciplined. So I learned a lot watching my dad go through his ups and downs and struggles more than him, giving me that. It was more like, hey, this is what we got to do to survive. When it comes to probably what I'm doing now, my grandfather, I didn't know how great a man he was. Back then, he owned a lot of land. I know he was working, and that's all I knew. We were going to go help hop on the truck today when we were over there. But as I got older, I realized, man, he has a lot of land. He owns his own business. Wow. So I saw my uncles, both of them, two of his other sons besides my dad. I saw them own their own businesses too. So I knew for my grandfather to do that, that was something that I wanted to learn from and direct myself to. And that is, having a lot of the resources that he had. And especially now as a parent, when we're talking about being a father, I'm still that guy. And I'm not going to lie that when we're in hard times, I'm looking for mom. Oh, mom, can you help me out of this? And I wanted to be that for my kids. I know, even as adults, we go through difficult times. So I saw my grandfather do that for my dad. My dad did it for me. And we wanted to do those things for our kids. So I think, if anything, my father taught me that, how to provide, how to be tough-minded and strong. And he provided me other members in the family to be role models as far as business.
Good point, man. You brought your wife in. You want to give her a shout out, man?
Oh, yeah. Everett Winchester, the love of my life. I love you.
Oh, that's nice. All right. we can end the podcast now then. We'll end it with that. All right. So let's move on to characteristics. So what's 2 or 3 characteristics that you have that you would say a good father has?
It's interesting. I did a free ebook on a website called The 3 S's of Black Entrepreneurship. And the first S is to be mentally.
Let's hold that till we talk about entrepreneurship.
I got you.
So
but
I'll make a note right here. The 3 S's. But go ahead.
I wanted to tie that in because
go ahead.
I believe a father has to have those 3 S's to be mentally strong, to survive, and to be a saver, to save your money. So when we start talking about fathers, I believe that one of the things is, especially for Black men, we have to be mentally strong. We have more obstacles to overcome. That's just the basics of it. We have more obstacles to overcome, but just being mentally strong doesn't mean anything. You got to go out there and put your mind to doing the task to take care of your family. So that's called surviving. And among surviving, it's always about building something and having something for your kids. So we want to be able to save. So I think those are 3 attributes that a lot of us need to have as Black parents, as fathers, and especially that last one, because we go out, man, I'm tough. I'm going to go through this. I'm going to make it for my kids. And then we're surviving. So we're feeling good, but we're living paycheck to paycheck, and we don't have anything to pass down. So that last one needs to be an attribute that all of us need to look at, including myself. I struggle from time to time, as we all do.
Yes, sir.
It's tough to say.
Absolutely. So that legacy building, like with your grandfather, we talked about with your grandfather, he helped your uncles to get us to business, that legacy, and continue that legacy building.
Exactly.
And from the fatherhood perspective, you're sharing that with your young individuals as well.
Definitely.
So are any of them involved in any of your businesses?
Well, when I first started, actually, when I met you, I had a difficult situation with my job, and my kids were very small at the time. And I'm like, Dad is having a problem. I'm going to have to leave my job. I'm going to try starting this cleaning business. And they were little kids. I'm talking about like 8. They probably, the oldest one might have been 8. And they were looking at me. I was like, well, if I do this, I'm going to need you guys' help. They were little kids.
Yeah.
Little did I know I was really going to need that help. They was like, we're going to help you. So they started doing little things, administrative. And next thing you know, they'd go out on the weekends with me, or if it wasn't any school, they'd go help clean and tie trash bags and stuff like that. So that legacy alone of instilling that this is ours, they helped me work till this day. And whatever businesses I do, from Real Truth and Power to my recruiting program, they're always giving a hand. And, I always try to make every business family oriented so we all can have a piece of it.
I love that, family oriented. All right. So what advice would you give to other fathers around fatherhood?
Well, it's always tough to be a dad because you're going to make a lot of mistakes, but do everything out of love. I remember, I think I was watching an old Bob Marley clip, and I think he was passing away, and they were saying, just talk to the people, tell them something. They didn't want the interview to end. They knew he was ill, and he was like, there's a right and a wrong thing to do. Just do the right thing. And so I think if you live with your heart and just try to do the right thing, everything is going to come to hand, because we all know you got to take care of these babies. You got to take care of them, not from just, I'm a baby buying diapers, but for being a mental stability in their lives, being there to give them advice, to nurture them when they fall down and pick them up, tell them it's okay. So, I would just focus on, just following your heart and doing the right thing.
All right, good deal. Any resources or tools that you can share with fathers as it relates to fatherhood? Any books, articles that you may know of?
Not offhand.
Okay.
I would just say the best advice is just to get a mentor and ask another dad that you look at. It might be some things that he does that you really like, and there could be some things that he's doing that you're not too fond of. So just watch. Be proactive, ask questions, ask elders that you know of. Man, I'm going through this situation or that, because like you say, a real community, we always want to help. And I think right around our age might have been the time where a lot of the neighborhoods were watching each other's kids. So it's a little different now, but the love is still there. Just reach out to somebody like me, man. I'm going through this. Programs like yourself. And, I think there's a couple of Facebook programs, just dedicated to just, hey, put in a question and, I can get a response about what I'm going on. So it's some areas you can research and find out.
All right, good deal. So, I'm not going to let this go by. Oftentimes black men don't want to talk to other black men when it comes to some of their challenges that we may have. And this is what this show is all about. How can we get black fathers as entrepreneurs to begin to work together to not only build their business, but to build their family and build legacy as well. So I'm glad that you did mention that, finding a mentor, another brother or elder to help you along your way. Put your ego aside. All of us at times will need help with some type of situation.
Oh, without a doubt. There's always an issue where, especially in our community, where we're struggling to unite, especially on the easiest things, and that we're talking about business or just in general helping out somebody. It's so tough when you're in a poverty situation or coming from a poverty community to reach out and help somebody up because you're scared they're going to pull you down. And that's one of the major things. A lot of times we think, people just don't want to help somebody out. They're probably afraid because, man, I'm helping you out, you're pulling me down. So it's a tough situation when you're in our community. What we have to do is we just have to be strong and love each other and, help somebody out. When you see them pulling you down, then, you may have to pull away, but go and look for someone else to help. I think that's just a major thing that we're not doing, is helping each other. Financially, business-wise, or just talking to someone, giving them help.
Love that. All right, so let's transition from fatherhood to entrepreneurship. All right, your entrepreneurial journey. Talk to us about your entrepreneurial journey.
Wow. Well, to make a long story, or try to make a long story very short, I was working for a medical company. I was going to school. They was paying half of my tuition. I was getting it in. I felt good. I would come to work with my briefcase on. I was, in my hand. I was feeling good. I'm about to get married, and I'm working with all these women. They give me a big party. Take care of your wife. So I come to work maybe a week later, 2 weeks before I'm getting married. And they didn't tell everybody to come to the conference room or the warehouse. Actually, it was the warehouse, not the conference room. And I see all of this food, steak. I mean, it's like the Last Supper. So I'm like, wow, they're doing something else for me. And then a main guy comes in and says, I just want you guys to know that we sold the company, and some of you guys may have jobs and some of you don't. And if they offer you a job with your same pay, you don't take it, you may not get unemployment.
Wow.
And then they moved me from the Baltimore area down past DC. So that's a big thing that you got to take when you're about to get married. And I don't know if anybody knows, you mess with a black woman when she's about to get married, you're in some trouble. So I took the move, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna see if I can still go to school. And they told me I couldn't go to school. Yeah, there was a new white lady that I worked with, and we're cool. And she said, hey, you motivated me to go. And they said I could go to school. I'm like, what? So I said, I got to get out of here, man. And you talking about somebody hitting you in your face. There's nothing worse than seeing blatant racism in your face. So what I did was I started researching what's the fastest way and the easiest business to get into, and kept popping up cleaning. And I think I was so motivated. One of my wife's best friends, Nikki, told me about the program you had. I was probably in there raising my hand, getting on your nerves every day.
It was all good, bro.
But I was like, I got to leave this job. I got to leave this job. And then you meet mentors from the program, and you meet people that may not be in your field, but started the business, and they helped me out. And thing you know, maybe like 2 years later, I was at work and they was like, it's time for you to go. You're hardly here. You step out on faith. And,
Wow.
you know, we have our ups and downs in life, just like in business. So, you know, we have our ups and downs, but that was the major thing for me was, you know, I was hit with that what we call that N-word call, or that black man wake up call. And that woke me up to the point where I was like, never again am I just going to rely on a job. It's okay to get a job, but I'm always going to be trying to grind my way into another platform of business to provide for my family and to leave a legacy.
I love that. So from the program, Women Entrepreneurs in Baltimore, I remember you were doing the cleaning business.
Yeah.
So you're still doing the cleaning business.
Oh, that's the bread and butter. We employ people.
Congratulations about that.
Yeah. So, and talk about growth. That's a growing thing you can get to is, you know, I started by myself working all the time. And I realized I wasn't enjoying life because the business was working me. And it still works me. Don't get me wrong. It works me. But what happened was I learned how to work the business. I learned how to say, man, I may lose a little bit of money, but I got to get some help here so I can enjoy a couple of days off. And so those kind of journeys that you go through, you know, you can never think of it until one day you're doing a whole nother business, and that business is going on its own. So, you know, that's how it started.
All right. So you mentioned a couple of things. So the business was working you, and oftentimes as entrepreneurs, we're solo entrepreneurs, and we're ingrained and we're in the business, and we're building a business until we can find some resources to help us go. Instead of working in the business, we're working on the business.
Right.
When did you decide that it was time for you to work on the business versus solely in the business, even though you're in the business?
I think it was a matter of, you know, as business consumes you, you're working, you're not eating healthy, you're always at work, night and day. You sleep, you wake up, I got to deal with work. And it started messing with my health among time with my family. And, you know, and actually with the new business I started, Real Truth and Power, we talk a lot about health, wealth, and knowledge yourself. And in business, you need your health
That's right.
to get your wealth. And I was working so much, the money was coming in, but I was unhealthy mentally and physically. I wasn't eating right, and my mental wasn't right because I was missing my family. And so, you know, my son's becoming a younger guy, and he wants to play sports, and he wants me to help coach and stuff like that. And I'm trying to help. And I said, no, I got to make a decision. I got to figure this out. And, you know, I went back to business schooling, programs like yourself, and say, hey, I have a business. And I've been going for 5 years maybe, but maybe I don't know what I thought I knew. And why am I out here working all the time and I'm so mentally stressed out? This isn't why I started the business. And it takes other people to say, golly, you work 7 days a week. You know, you're not even going to enjoy your money or live to make it. So I think that's a major thing that, you know, everyone has to deal with and talk about.
And how did you determine what type of how did you figure out to bring employees on? Now, are they employees or independent contractors?
No, employees.
So how did you figure that out?
Well,
and how was that going? How did you figure it out first, and then how was it going?
I figured it out because I wanted to help the community. So I was always like, man, you know, if I can hire somebody, that would be great. Don't get me wrong. We have subcontractors too, and they help out, and they're easier because, you know, with a subcontractor, you can say, I'm gonna pay you on this day, or I'll pay you when I get paid if you prefer that, or these are the terms. With employees, every 2 weeks, they're expecting a paycheck. So, you know, that was a growing pain that I had of, you know, is it worth it, man? But you know, when you get an email or a text from an employee saying, thank you, it's been a year. Man, you know, I was struggling in this job. This little bit of money, man, got me through. And, you know, Mr. Winchester, thank you. So that's why I wanted to hire. So, you know, the employees is a great place to start. But the payroll is tough. You got to pay them. You got to pay your employees. So that's when we start talking about saving again.
Yeah. So having employees, first you have to identify who you're going to bring on, and then what job description you're going to have for
Right.
them as well. So how did you figure out all of that? And then their payment, paying their payroll taxes. I don't know if you pay health insurance, but how did you figure out that, bringing these employees will help me spend some more time with my family, get my health in order, but also to continue to build on other enterprises?
Well, it's funny you said that because people say, that the issue is you need to hire employees. So I'm like, okay. And then we go back and I'm hiring these employees. And I thought if you made, say, $900, the state and the government would take their money out. And all I'm paying is $900. Oh, no, I got to pay taxes on that as well. Right. I'm like, what is this? They overtaxing me. Yeah. So it was a learning process. And
how did you learn that?
By you going out there and just hiring some employees. Okay. It wasn't that part I had to do on my own. I had to learn. We do have a tough but small hiring process, and our process is not really your what you can do, because it's not hard to clean. You just have to want to clean. We used to clean the business, but what made it easier is we ask questions about people, about how they would handle certain situations on the interview process. Ask them, their personal experiences in certain situations. Because I found out a lot of times, the best worker may not be the best employee or the best person to work with. So you have to get some personality traits as well. Well, I may know that this lady, she's going to wipe down, but she may not be the best at getting the trash, but I can work with that. I know I need to check behind her, as opposed to somebody who's going to dust, get the trash, and be a headache every Monday through Friday, whatever they work. So we want to hire some good individuals there, and we try to look for that character, some character traits.
So, I work with entrepreneurs, and some of the comments they say about bringing on individuals is, it's my baby. I know how to do it better than anybody else. It's your baby. You know how to do it better than anybody else. However, you said, I need to bring on some individuals. What advice would you give to those individuals who are saying, it's my baby though, I know how to do this and I can get it done?
That right there is the hardest thing that you're going to have to do. And my suggestion would be to breathe, let it go slowly, but let it go. I mean,
let it go slowly.
Yeah, I'm not saying hire somebody, train them, and then say, okay, this is you. I mean, You have to have a process which you're going to be there to monitor them and wean them and check behind them. But you're going to have to do it. And it was tough for me because, every business I do, once it grows to a certain degree, and all of them don't do well. So, but once they go to a certain degree, now my mentality is, how can I do less and let the business work for me? And if they have that mind frame, that'd be okay. But it's tough. I mean, because you're always working when you're not there. Your mind is gone. And believe it or not, when you find some good employees or decent employees that do what they need to do, it is so refreshing to your mind because you can relax. So I would just tell them to take a deep breath and just go slowly.
I love that. And one of the things that I always say to individuals is, if you're going to be in a position to move from working in the business to working on the business, you have to have those systems in place. And it looks like you have those. No, not looks. You have those systems in place. The hiring process, the accounting process, this is what you do when you go out and I'm not there and you're one of the clients. This is what you do.
Right. Well, I'm glad you mentioned about systems, because every business must have one, from the front door, what we call it, the front part of the business, to the back part of the business, which a lot of people say, the back end. Yep. You have to have your administrative together. You have to have the working part together, and you have to have systems in place to hire, to train, to make sure your payroll is being done correctly. All of those things come into hand. And we have, stick with our cleaning, we have a phenomenal system where, they punch in from the phone and it lets me know when they don't punch in. And if they're not there in like 15 minutes, don't go to work, because I got to worry about you not being there unless you call me. They can add the supplies and stuff that they need. So all of that stuff through the app is a system that helps us out. And like I say, just the very getting with different people in our business and us interviewing them and looking at a lot of the personal traits, but yes, definitely you need a lot of systems in place to run a proper business.
All right, so you mentioned an app. So are there any other tools that you can refer to budding and existing entrepreneurs?
There's a lot of new stuff out there now. I still, for small businesses, I like, Intuit. QuickBooks.
Yep, QuickBooks. Yep.
QuickBooks, man, you can send out invoices and stuff like that now. Now, actually, again, we have a system in place now. We're starting to wean away from QuickBooks. It's a cleaning app called Swept for the cleaning business, where we can actually send out our own invoices and track it more business-wise. But I still recommend QuickBooks, especially for small business owners. They got ways where you can track your mileage. We have another thing we use, but there's some apps where you can track your mileage and keep your receipts. So it's a lot of different tools out there that you need. You just sit back, relax, and just start Googling, because I didn't know anything about payroll. I'm using something called Gusto. I would have never heard of it until I got down there and started to, research what's affordable for my side business.
And that's Gusto, right?
Yeah, Gusto.
And that's payroll. All right, good deal. So characteristics, what are 2 or 3 characteristics that an entrepreneur should have?
Wow. I would say tough skin. Got to be mentally tough, as we talked about, being mentally strong. Be willing to overachieve. And when I say overachieve, overcome tough obstacles. It's one thing when we go through life and we deal with obstacles, but in business, when you fail, that could be it. You could fail a couple of times, or sometimes businesses will hit you right in the face and say, no, that was a big one. So you just got to go in and be willing to bob and weave a lot of obstacles, be mentally tough. And I just think just be very compassionate about what you do. I think that's the main thing. You could run a popsicle stand, a snowball stand, and you could run a car dealership. But if that snowball stand is more rewarding, if you wake up every day pumped up and say, man, I got to sell 20 snowballs, and you're in there feeling miserable every day because you own a car dealership and you don't even like the business you're in, you're not going to make it, because it's going to mentally wear you out. So I would just say, you got to have compassion for what you do and love it.
All right, good deal. Any final thoughts, either from a fatherhood perspective or entrepreneurship perspective, as we leave out?
Just as a father, just stay loving and caring. Always, try to do what's best. And if that ties into being a Black father entrepreneur, get out there, push yourself, think of some great ideas and concepts, and try to apply them to life and start businesses. And if the first one doesn't go well, regroup and try another one, because a lot of people don't realize when they start thinking of businesses, they start thinking, I'm running a business. We just want to preach, let the business run for you, and you can leave that business for your family, whether it's a cleaning business, a clothing business, a nonprofit business, a podcast, whatever. Just think of generational wealth and think about leaving something that can affect the community by employing, and also leaving something for your family.
Oh, man. Good words, man. How can people reach out to you again?
They can reach me at realtruthempower@gmail.com. Our website is realtruthempower.org. And if you're interested in the cleaning business, you can reach us at www.cleanthebest.com.
Cleanthebest.com. I love it. Everett Winchester, brother, thank you for coming on board.
I appreciate you.
All right. So if you're interested in being a guest on Black Fathers as Entrepreneurs, just go over to bit.ly/BFAS guest, BFAS guest. And you can listen to past episodes of Black Fathers as Entrepreneurs on edacmorgan.com. That's EDAC Morgan.com. Click on podcast, it's right there. I want to thank you for checking in, and remember, the resources we share each week helps in the growth of fatherhood and entrepreneurship. See you next time on Black Fathers as Entrepreneurs. Peace.
Let me find out you took over for Tavis Smiley.
Man, I'm better.